So the big question in 1971 as Christmas approached was my brother and I were trying to figure out where we were going to go this year. Where were we going to go over Christmas break? We threw around a lot of ideas, and finally we decided we'll go to El Paso, Texas, and we'll hitchhike to El Paso, and we'll figure things out from there. We had no plan. So that's what we did. We took off shortly after Christmas, hitchhiking again, and we headed out, and we weren't real sure, or at least I'm not real sure exactly about the rides we got, and I don't remember a bunch of them. But I do remember the last one that would take us into El Paso, and that was a Marine, U.S. Marine. And he was heading for 29 Palms, California. And we got to El Paso, and he decided to pull into the Holiday Inn there and make a reservation, have him telex a reservation over by 29 Palms. Now, for those of you who do not know what a telex is, this is before internet and all that. Basically, it's a typewriter, got a big roll of paper, and you type whatever you want message. There's no screen, you're just typing it on paper, so if you make a mistake, it's just as if you made a mistake on a typewriter. And when you finish with your message, you would hit the button and it would send it by wire to the Holiday Inn, wherever. And then when it got there, it would print it out and the person would read it and they would make the reservation. So that's how it worked back in those days. So anyway, while he's doing that, we're out in the parking lot, standing there, leaning up against his car. And one of the things on our mind is that the last half of the day, I was coming down with something. I was feeling very bad. Don't know what I had or what it was. But anyway, I was feeling bad. And this guy pulls up in a car and rolls the window down and he goes, "Hey, are you guys as lost as I am?" And we laugh and go, "Well, yeah, probably so." So we talk and we finally decide we're going to go with this guy. So we get our gear after the Marine comes out and heads off, and we get in the car with this guy. We decide we're going to go get a motel room because I'm just not in good shape at all. So we find a motel room, we go in there, take our gear and stuff, throw it in there, and all I want to do is get into bed. And this guy says to me, he goes, "You know, I think you have what I had. And you know, I still hear. Take this pill. There's some pills I had. Take this pill, okay? It's what I took when I had that." And I did. I had no idea to this day what it was, but I took it. I crawl into bed, and they take off to Juarez, cross the border into Mexico to hit the bars, and that's what they do. And while they're doing that, I'm laying there in bed, shivering, sweating, perspiring, soaking wet. Then I shiver, and all night long, that's what I'm doing. So finally, morning comes, we get up, pack up. I'm perfectly fine. Whatever I had is gone. I don't believe the pill had anything to do with it. I think the sweats and the shivers, the chills, is probably what ran it off. But anyway, we get in the car with this guy, and he said, he starts telling us about this hot springs up in the mountains northwest of Albuquerque. And he says, "I tell you what, I got to get to Indiana, but I'll take you to Albuquerque." And so we take off, and he takes a hit of speed, which speed is a methamphetamine, I believe, whatever. But he's got to get to Indiana. Evidently he's going to drive till he gets there. So we go up to Albuquerque. We're coming in up there just south of Albuquerque to Isla de Pueblo. Never been to an Indian Pueblo before, but we pull in there, and it's late in the evening, or late in the day, starting to be evening, and there's some guys there with drums. They're still doing part of their ceremony, whatever, and I'd never seen anything like that before. And the smell in the air was of pinon pine, which pinon is it makes a nut very useful, very sought after for cooking. It's a wonderful nut, and the wood is just wonderful to burn in a fireplace. It's very aromatic and it really smells great, and I love it to this day. And those are the memories I have from that little stop there for the few minutes that we stopped there. And then we head out of there, and this guy says, you know, I'd really like to go soak in that hot spring one more time. I'll take you all up there. We'll go up there. So we drive up into the Jemez Mountains, northwest of Albuquerque up there, and we park and hike over to the hot spring. And before that, he shows us there's a big overhang of a cave on a cliff wall there. So we go put our gear there and we go back. We soak and it's getting dark, and we soak there for a while. And we're tired, and so this guy is not tired. And so we go up, my brother and I go up and go to the cave, and this guy stays down at the hot spring. Well, I'm awoke in the middle of the night, and I'm not sure whether this was a dream or whether what, but I hear somebody calling. Well, I hear a voice again. I shine the light, and it's the guy coming up from the hot spring, and he says, I said, well, what's the problem? Why couldn't you found it in the dark before? What's the problem? He goes, it's all this snow. Well, for the last couple of hours, it had been snowing pretty heavily, and there's 3 or 4 inches of snow on the ground. Anyway, we spend the night up under the shelter of that cave and get up the next morning and get the car moving, and he drives us back into Albuquerque. And he drops us off on Central Avenue, which is old Route 66, goes east-west through the town, through Albuquerque. Drops us off there in front of the University of New Mexico. And I don't remember all what we did. And it seemed like we spent another day there. I don't remember, but I remember we went into one of these religious organizations, had what they would call now a homeless shelter, but this was like for transients or anybody that needed a place to stay, especially in the middle of winter because it gets cold. And so we stayed there. I think it was free. They gave you a meal. Everybody went in. The door closed at like 7 o'clock or 9 o'clock. I don't remember. But after that, you stayed in the rest of the night, and then you left the next morning. And that's what we did. And we were trying to figure out which way to go back home, and we decided to retrace our steps, and we hitchhiked again. I do not remember anything about the rides and stuff going back home, but we did go back to El Paso, and then El Paso back to Fort Worth, and we made it back. Well, we got dropped off there in Central Avenue, and where Yale Avenue runs into that's the main gate into the University of New Mexico. And we're sitting out there, and we're just chit-chatting away and looking around, and we go, this would be a pretty neat place to live. This town looks pretty neat. I think it'd be a good place to live. That's what we started talking about, living there. Well, a year and a half later, my brother moves there, and to this day, he still has connections and visits there quite often. It was a few more years before I moved there, but I did move there, and I lived there nearly 21 years. I lived in Albuquerque, and I still have connections. I still go there from time to time, and I still really like the place a lot. And so this hitchhiking business and where it leads, you just never know. And it can be good and it can be bad, because like on my previous videos, when you get picked up by somebody, you don't know what you're getting yourself into. Could be good, could be bad. You just don't know. And I've had some bad experiences, and I've had some good experiences. And then you have those bad experiences, and you finally say, my luck might just give out next time. So that's what got us into 1972. And 1972, summer of 1972 for me would be an epic summer. It would be an epic summer to me. So thank you all for watching.